G'day everyone, welcome to another puzzle combat video with Governor here. This video here is actually going to be the final video of the 2021 calendar year from me. I'm off on holidays for the next couple of weeks and not going to have access to any of my recording gear. So I figured what better way to finish off the year and to summarise everything that's gone on and say farewell for the year than to do a summary video for the year. So this is going to be hopefully the first video in a series like this, which is titled 2021 A Year in Review. So we're going to be having a quick look back over all the stuff that has changed, been added and everything like that throughout 2021. Some of the stuff was a long time ago. I didn't even really remember some of the stuff that happened in this year. Some of it I thought was earlier, other stuff quite later, or much earlier. In fact, I thought some of this stuff had been there since like the very beginning. So yeah, we'll dive straight into this video, but yeah, shout out to Synergy who suggested this as a video format, so hopefully it is good, helpful, useful and all of that, and as always, please do feel free to like and subscribe to my channel if this stuff is good, and yeah, we'll dive straight into the video. So you can see there at the bottom, we've got a summary of all the stuff that happened in 2021. I've gone through all of the release notes for 2021, jotted down some of the highlights, so you can see all the things there. We're going to discuss all of these on later sections of the video. So we will move straight into, I guess, the first aspect of the year in review, which is looking at the game updates. So in 2021, we saw a total of 10 major game updates, so these are full version numbers. There was some really cool stuff that happened throughout each of those versions. So some of the notable ones is in version 29, we saw new war machines added. We previously were only up to 10 stars, so that was a big change. We also saw a whole bunch of events added, like the MECHANOID Menace, SPRINGTECH, Zombie event, Summer event, Halloween, or sorry, Season 2, and then also the Manor of Legends. So heaps of new content came out throughout 2021. But yeah, you can see there all the updates we've seen this year from version 28 through version 38, which came out only a couple days ago. So one of the things that we did see continuing on from late in 2020 was we saw the continued release of a new Hero of the Month every month. Most of 2020, 2019 and everything, they had the same 5 Heroes of the Month, which they just cycled through over and over again. But through 2021, we saw 12 new Heroes of the Month added. We had Natalia in January, Xander in February, Letitia in March. Nima came out in April, with Visor coming out in May. Mortis is probably the first of the really big notable Heroes of the Month that came out. So he came out in June 2021. Then we also had Blockbuster, Wilma, Reaper, Lupita, Montana, and then in December 2021, we've got Donnie and Duke, who is still the featured Hero of the Month and will be for the next little while. Along this same note, we also had 12 new Weapons of the Month. I haven't actually summarized them. In hindsight, I probably could have done that, but I just didn't do it for some reason. But there were also 12 Weapons of the Month that were added. Some of them were great, like the Ragnarok Vantage. Others of them, not so much. They were a little bit more of a dud sort of thing. So yeah, we had 12 new heroes throughout the year, and you can see a little bit more detail about all of them there. So as I said, January through December, new hero each month. So we also in 2021 saw the kickstarting of my video hero review series that I've been doing. We started that in August 2021 with Wilma. Since then we've done 5 video hero reviews of the Heroes of the Month, totaling up to 178 minutes worth of what I consider to be A++ quality review material. So if you haven't already checked out some of those videos, please do. I have included a link to the playlist that I've got all of those in the description of this video, so you can binge watch all 178 minutes while you're trying to escape family over the Christmas period. So yeah, we've seen all of those Heroes of the Month added to the game. There were also a couple quite major bugs and exploits, as well as some major changes which don't really fit into some of the other categories I've got, so I kind of summarized them here. So the biggest bug of 2021 was probably the Ksenia exploit, which occurred in early January. It was actually the first appearance of the Mercenary event in 2021, and also the first appearance of a red featured Mercenary event. So basically, the summary of the bug was if you faced Ksenia as a boss, you could basically sit in the battle for a very, 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 very long time and basically not kill Ksenia, wait for her to revive the bosses or mobs near her, kill them again, wait for her to revive them, kill them again, and every time you killed those bosses and mobs, it would increase the match bonus or the difficulty bonus portion of the stage score. So what it meant was there was people getting several 100,000 scores on a stage 3, which is really maximum capped out at about 60,000 points. So basically people were exploiting this bug and going to town on it, getting incredibly high scores when they really couldn't even finish the event. So that was probably the biggest bug of 2021, and it did result in some individuals getting bans from the game, not permanent bans, just temporary ones, but yeah, it was quite a major talking point early in 2021. There were also a couple smaller ones, like in the first iteration of the MECHANOID event in March. There was some stuff with the radioactive burn misfiring and also some bugs around the leaderboard, how it was ranked and showing. There was also a Drive Cinema crashing bug that was actually across all of SGG's platforms, so they did that in Empires and Puzzles as well. There's a couple things with Master Weapon when they released SPRINGTECH, some purchasing errors. In September 2020, there was a semi-major bug where you were actually able to consume a saved hero. I did do a known issue explanation video on that, so you can check out my channel to find out some more details on that. And then there was also a whole bunch of bugs around the Manor of Legends in its first release as well. So common theme is basically every time SGG release a new feature for the first time, it has bugs. So just be aware of that when you're playing through new events and that. And check out my channel because I do put up stuff when there's major bugs and not able to play the game or it affects gameplay. There are also a couple of major changes, some of them good, some of them bad. So in early January we saw that the map got completely overhauled. Previously it was using just generic combat sort of theme, but in January they overhauled everything and made all of the enemy map bosses and mobs zombies. I don't know why, but that is what they did. So we have a lot of zombies on the map now. They also in August reduced the cooldown time on drive-in cinema. It used to be 8 hours, which was allowing you to get 3 drive-ins per day. They dropped it down to 4 hours, so you can now get 6 per day. So they didn't change the loot though, which was awesome. So it basically doubled the amount of drive-in loot you could get in a calendar day. Probably the biggest negative change that they made in 2021 was on the 1st of October, the Hero of the Month appearance rate in the portal dropped from 1.3% down to 1%. That was quite a bit of a dick move on SGG's part, particularly because the Hero of the Month over in Empires and Puzzles is still a 1.3% chance, and it's been like that for the last 5 or 6 years. So bit of a dick move really to make that change. And then the last change recently is the challenge events have been removed from the schedule in order to fit in the Season 2 portal. But I've been told and assured by staff they are coming back, they just haven't said when yet. Right, new war machines. So this is heading back to the start of 2021 in version 29, the first one in January. They actually added some more variants of war machines, so you can see the new 5 variants there. We've got the Vortex Zoomcraft, the Riot Airship, Colossus War Train, Ripple Salamander, and Dragonfire Gunship. So these variants of war machines didn't used to exist in Puzzle Combat. They got added when they moved the cap up from 10 to 14 stars. So you can see these style war machines from 10 stars, and once you're into 11 stars, these are the only types of war machines you'll face. Global launch. So this was probably the biggest thing that we were all waiting on throughout 2021 and most of 2020. Before the 9th of June in 2021, Puzzle Combat used to be just in soft launch, so it was available only in select countries. You couldn't even access it on all platforms within the same country. So I think in America you could access it on iOS, but you couldn't access it on Android, which was a bit weird. If you were an Android user, you were able to play earlier like myself because Australia was not included in the soft launch list. So I was able to continue playing Puzzle Combat by direct installing the APK file onto my device. With the launching of Global, SGG also launched their dedicated Puzzle Combat social media platforms like Reddit and Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of thing. But strangely, they've all been pretty dormant since global launch. There's not really been much activity from SGG on any of those fronts. So they might need to work on that side of things, or even better, hire someone to look after it. Raid tournament. So for me, this was probably my absolute favorite addition to Puzzle Combat throughout 2021. Raid tournaments for me are a very, very, very enjoyable part of the game. They add a completely different, I guess, gameplay style, but it's not really, because it's sort of very similar to the raiding arena, but what makes it very different and what I find very enjoyable is that it has the color and hero rarity restrictions placed on it. So basically, normal raiding, I pretty much raid with 5-star heroes, and I face the same set of 5-star heroes over and over and over and over and over again in raiding. What raid tournaments do is they force me and other players to start using these different combinations of heroes. Heroes you wouldn't normally see on defense teams, like, for example, this one here. You can see I've got 8-bit, Calamity, Foxtrots, and Edge. You'd probably never see that sort of combination outside of a raid tournament. The only reason it kind of could work is because it's a bloody battle with a 4-star restriction with no blues. So for me, I think raid tournaments were the best addition in 2021. They were also something that was existing in Empires and Puzzles, which just took a while for the Puzzle Combat team to drag over and install. But yeah, once it came over, it has been incredibly awesome. I think we are up to 16 raid tournaments since they were introduced in August 16th. And the best thing about them is not just that you get to face different teams, but they've also got heaps of really good loot available. So they actually have one of the highest emblem drop points in the game at the moment. So yeah, the raid tournaments was a massive, massive, massive addition and a huge success from my personal perspective. So hopefully you guys are also enjoying those raid tournaments, because we did have to badger staff a lot before they came over. New events. So in 2021, we actually had 2 discrete new challenge events, a new Spec Ops style event, as well as getting 2 new sets of seasonal events added to the game. So we'll go through that list really briefly with what was added and everything. So starting off, we've got the SPRINGTECH event, which was added in version 31. So this was just before Easter time that this was added. It was just a seasonal quote-unquote event. There wasn't actually a Spec Op included in the update. Apparently SGG devs just didn't have time to get it done. I don't know, it sounds like a bit of a BS excuse, but anyway. It did include a new portal which has these 5 new heroes that were added to the game, as well as with all of the seasonal events, there was a offers calendar included in the update. So the 5 new heroes that got added, we had 3 really amazing 5-star heroes in Hairware, Pika, and Bunny Hop, a single 4-star hero in Jackrabbit, and a single 3-star hero in Bucky. I did do a preliminary overview of each of those heroes when I did a huge amount of summons for some of them. I got pretty lucky in that event. I got Hairware and Bunny Hop. I never actually got Pika, who was one that I probably wanted the most. And I've definitely gotten copies of Jackrabbit and Jackrabbit and Bucky as well. So hopefully you also had a fair bit of luck with that portal. If not, they should be coming back around just after Easter in 2022 as well. We also saw a second seasonal event added to the game. As I mentioned, this was the Summer WATERFIGHT seasonal event. It had a lot more heroes that got added, and unlike the SPRINGTECH, it did actually include a Spec Op, which had avatars and PMs and all that kind of thing as rewards for completing the Spec Op stages. So it was probably the most complete event that was added to the game throughout 2021, and it does fill only the second seasonal event, which has got all 3 aspects of the seasonal event, both the heroes, the portal, the heroes and portal, the Spec Op, and the offers calendar. So we added in these 5 5-star heroes. So there was Lana, Delphine, Finley, Hannelly, and Hudson. We also got 3 3-star heroes in Woo Woo, Koa, and Makani. There were no 3-star heroes that were added as part of the WATERFIGHT hero family. I don't know why. SGG just decided not to. So that was the total of what was added in the WATERFIGHT. Again, I did a bit of a review of these heroes before doing some summons. I didn't do many summons because I personally didn't like the look of most of those heroes, both visually and also just from a hero skill perspective. So you can check that video out on my channel as well if you haven't already done so. We also saw 2 discrete challenge style events added to the game. So the first one was the MECHANOID Menace, added in version 30. So this was really early on in the calendar year. I think it was about February that this was added in. Basically, it was structured like a normal challenge event, except there was an inter-alliance competition style of things as well. So basically, you played as an individual on rarity-limited event stages, where your score was then totaled up for an individual score and rank, as well as your score being totaled up with all of your alliance mates to get a cumulative alliance score. So because there was both an individual rank and an alliance rank, there are still 2 sets of loot for this portal. So that was pretty cool. It's a very unique gameplay as well, in that it's got a turn counter which counts down and adds a burn and an attacking element onto you every 5 turns, I think it is. But yeah, they added a huge amount of heroes into the game with this update. So they added 7 5-star heroes, some of which are really amazing ones like Terminus and Tremor and Quattro and Ridge. There's a couple that are fairly mediocre. They are quite good in their applications like Judge and Booster, and Ridge to an extent as well. And then there's 1 5-star in Atomo, who's just not fantastic. He's really not. They added 4 4-star heroes as well in Ox, Jet Set, Sabatine, Holden. All of them are pretty amazing heroes. Ox is probably the pick of the bunch, but I also really do like Sub. I think he's quite an amazing hero. They added 3 3-stars as well in Piston, Rover, and Flywheel. Personally, I've not really leveled them. I don't have much experience with them, so I can't really comment too much on how awesome they are, because they sort of came after I'd finished using 3-star heroes most of the places. So yeah, MECHANOID Menace was the first of the challenge events added. We also had a new event, the Zombie event, which was added in version 33. So this one, unlike the MECHANOID, is just a solo event. Basically, you play through the Spec Ops stages and you get an individual score, which has a ranking, which gives you loot. They added a unique gameplay effect where, because all of these enemies are zombies, they have a chance to revive as a tombstone and then finally resurrect after you kill them the first time. So the tombstones have a 3-turn cooldown on them, in which you can charge and fire a holy hand grenade at them to destroy the tombstones before they resurrect. So initially, that gameplay aspect was really terrible. It was quirky and kind of fun to play, but it was just executed so poorly. And it took them a couple iterations of the zombie event before they actually managed to get it to a point where it was an actual fun and useful event for everyone. So now it's actually quite a successful event. It comes around every 2 or 8 weeks. Sorry, it alternates with the mercenary event. But they did add in 14 new heroes in the zombie event as well as they amalgamated the original 5 old zombie heroes that used to be part of a pre-existing zombie horde spec op. So we added in the heroes Tamika, Barbed Wire, Breakthrough, Ember, Melter, Scarlet, and Shocker. Billy Bob was the old 5-star who got amalgamated in. The 4-stars we added Kraken, Nagao, Quake, Shelly. We already had Spud and Lindsay, so they got moved across. And then finally in the 3-stars, they added Paige, Hoff, and Iggy, with Manfred and Roberto already existing in the 3-star arena. So overall, most of these heroes are pretty awesome. They've all got extremely useful aspects. Yeah, I can't really say anything bad about most of these heroes. 5-star, 4-star, or 3-star. The zombie event is probably an undervalued portal to summon in. I do think it is quite good. So yeah, if you've got a chance and a bit of spare gold, the zombie one is probably a great spot to summon in. So yeah, zombie event added version 33 in 2021. And that brings us to the latter end of 2021 in terms of the new content added. So they added in Season 2 very late in 2021. They added it in November. So it basically is acting as an extension of the existing map PvE campaign. As yet, there's still only a regular mode. They haven't added in a veteran mode, which is sort of like your challenge mode kind of thing. It's a little bit more difficult with some restrictions on it. They also added in a special tile gameplay called the Hacker Tiles. Basically, if you don't match them in time, they hurt you. If you do match them in time and you manage to match multiple of the same color, you get a bonus. That's pretty much how it works. It still is a really poorly executed game mechanic. I think it doesn't add any value to Season 2. In fact, I think it actually diminishes the value of Season 2. and makes it more annoying to auto play and farm. So for me personally, I play through Season 2 initially, and then I have not touched it since at all. They also added an additional 15 heroes at the release of Season 2, with a new featured 5-star hero being released every 4 weeks, which coincides with the portal and Season 2 opening with new content. So we can see the original 5, we had Jackie, Maya, Sato, Warchest, Wheels. Glitch was added in the last featuring of Season 2. Then we had Apex, Demonica, Jargo, Leon, and Tori in the 4 stars, with the 3 stars being CMYK, Crash, Michelle, Nash, and Trackdown. So most of these heroes receive some balance changes soon, or the month after the release, but we're going to cover that off a little bit more down the video. So yeah, Season 2 added late in 2021. Finally, the last brand new content that got added in 2021 was the Manor of Legends. So this was added right at the death of 2021 in version 38, which is probably going to be the final update of 2021. I think most of the SGG team have gone away on holidays now, so not going to see new content anyway. Basically, it is a way of summoning past Heroes of the Month. It's pretty cool in that they add Heroes of the Month that are older than 7 months into a portal where you can summon them as an extra hero, essentially, in the normal vanilla hero pool of options. So there is a spec op attached to it, which does grant you these coins, which you use as summon currency in the Manor of Legends portal. The unique thing about the Manor of Legends spec op is that it has this hero mastery feature, which basically means that you can only use each hero once. So it does take a little bit of roster mastery and roster management in order to successfully complete the spec op. Alright, and that brings us to the final aspect of this year in review. So 2021 saw a lot of balance changing go down on the various different heroes. Some of the balance changes were necessary, others of them were really unnecessary, and there were a couple that downright almost ruined a hero entirely. So we'll have a quick squiz through those. I have started a hero balance breakdown video series, which I've started doing recently, where I take all of the release notes on the hero balances, and I sort of break it down and have a look at how each individual hero actually gets affected by the balance changes, and how much of an impact it actually has on that hero. So starting at the start of 2021, we had a March 22nd balance change. So it predominantly focused on the mercenary event heroes. There were a couple other heroes tossed in there as well. The main thing though that it was noted for was the infamous Zidane nerf, where he was almost completely castrated as a hero usefulness. Back in the day, Zidane used to do all of his effects to all of his allies, so he used to do the passive charge generation and the heal over time to all enemies. In this balance change, he was reduced to being down to just cast it in nearby, which was a massive change. It basically reduced his effectiveness by up to 2/3, which was huge. So in terms of the affected heroes, we saw, well, you can see the list there. There is a whole page of this stuff on SGG's website, but really quickly we had Krampus got nerfed a little bit with his damage, Zidane got his nerf, Digimon, Delmar, Wildcat, Von Hagen, Hertzfeld, Elif, Osong, they all got their damage buffed. We saw Pavati got her armor over time increased, and then we also saw a couple of speed changes in Umbra and some stat rebalancing as well. The next balance was on September 15th, so a long time between drinks. This one basically exclusively focused on the upcoming Halloween event hero, so it was released about 3 weeks before the Halloween seasonal event. So we saw improvements to all of the Halloween or the Spookfest family heroes. So Ichka, Face Off, Blair, Groll, and Strawman, all of them got a buff of some degree. November 16th, so this was the first of the balance change breakdown videos that I did. Previous to this, I hadn't actually done any, but I will add a link to the playlist in the description of this video as well, if you want to have a bit more of a look at how all of these changes went down and how much of an impact they had. So there was a huge range of heroes that got affected, a lot of vanilla heroes, which was nice, and then a couple of the big name heroes. So we saw improvements to Adeed, Billy Bob, Delmar, Melter, Min, Perla, Powell, Stone, Thrasher, and Wildcat. There was also a couple of rebalances that kind of changed the scope of that hero. So Breakthrough was one. He got a stats rebalance, which ended up actually nerfing his damage output, which was a little bit disappointing. The other major notable ones, or the two major notable ones through this balance patch, was Mortis, who got both his damage nerfed and his bleed nerfed and the chance to crit nerf. So he's still an amazing hero, Mortis. He's just not quite as strong as he was before. The other one that got fairly heavily hit was Terminus. Previously, Terminus had a 50% chance to revive all of the dead allies. Or sorry, 50% chance to revive 4 random dead allies, which meant that he could effectively, if there was only one dead ally, have 4 chances at 50% to revive that one hero. So it was quite powerful. He did get reduced down in terms of both the revive chance as well as the damage if he failed to revive someone. So he came down much more in line with Ksenia, and in fact I do think that Ksenia is a better reviving hero than Terminus is now. I know there are people that disagree with that statement, but for me, that's just the way it is, sorry. Finally, the last balance change was in December 15th. This was the second balance change breakdown that I did, the review video. It was focused exclusively on Season 2 heroes, though. So we saw major changes to pretty much every single Season 2 hero that was released to date. Pretty much all of them got a buff, which was great. There were a couple that got what I considered to be a nerf. So the two main ones was Wheels. I didn't think he really needed to be reduced as much as he did in terms of the drone nerf. Tori also copped a bit of a nerf in the charge control side of things, but the rest of it was fairly even. And then finally, Trackdown was the last one that got hit pretty hard. So otherwise, pretty much all of those heroes got a buff, which was awesome. So yeah, in summary, it was a pretty big year for Puzzle Combat in 2021. There was heaps and heaps of new content, not just events, but also new heroes and new gameplay aspects as well with Season 2, the Manor of Legends, and also raid tournaments. They were all massive changes, and for me, they've pretty much made the game a whole lot more enjoyable. There's more stuff to do. It's not overwhelming yet in terms of some of the content like there can be in Empires and Puzzles. But yeah, it was a pretty massive year for Puzzle Combat. There did seem to be, towards the end of 2021, a bit of a step up in the frequency of balance changes that the team are doing. So we'll have to sort of see how that goes and progresses on into 2022, whether they continue doing semi-monthly balance changes or if it's going to be a bit random going on. So hopefully, as we move into 2022, we're going to see more content coming into the game. Hopefully, we will also see the return of those challenge events. And my personal hope is that with the return of the challenge events, we're going to see the long-awaited missing 2 challenge events as well. Because so far we've only got 3 of the colors with reflections, and there's still obviously 2 more to come. So hopefully we'll see those as well as heaps of new content, more ways to play as an alliance, more ways to play as an individual, and a whole bunch more stuff. So yeah, as I said at the start of the video, this is my final video for 2021. I will see you guys all fresh and eager in 2022 into the new year. So until then, please do, if you haven't done so, like, subscribe, share the video around. I am heaps keen to hear from everybody. If you haven't done so already, you can jump onto Discord, join my server over there where we've got lively discussions about all things Puzzle Combat related, and then heaps of discussion regarding advice, tips, tricks, and all that kind of thing. So until the next time that I see you guys all, I will wish you guys a safe and Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And so with that note, please do stay safe, enjoy your gaming, and have a wonderful Christmas period. All right, and I think that's about it. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.